Um,
Let me check. So hey, welcome guys. We're having another episode of EOS Tokenomics and DACs. I see Justin Buck out there. We have Justin uh, Guiducci here from EOS Locksmith, and I also have trouble with your last name. I gotta,
no, that's okay. That's okay.
I gotta say it a few more times to get it. I just call you Justin.
Yeah, yeah. We've also got Jun from EOS San Francisco. Now that the announcement is out, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, thanks for that. So yeah, excited about kind of participating, helping EOS infrastructure, and so hopefully we can kind of just help out and just get the best system out there.
Oh, definitely.
So
I think having an extra block producer in the Bay Area is going to help kind of bring more people into EOS and away from Ethereum, hopefully. Not that there's anything wrong with Ethereum, but I think there's a lot of potential in EOS, and I think we need to communicate it better, or just more throughput on that, having more bandwidth, more people involved in creating events. We're already involved, obviously, but hopefully you guys will get some money from block rewards and like Blocksmith kind of inject that into the community as well.
yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's good to have as much presence here and kind of work together since it is a challenge to. So you can't hear me well, I guess.
Oh, that's weird. I can hear you okay.
Okay. So hopefully, yeah, I'll just bring the mic a little closer. But yeah, it's a challenge for us to kind of get the traction in the Bay Area because Ethereum is so dominant. So yeah. So I mean, the more we can kind of work together, collaborate, and get all the ecosystem of companies and block producers and just advocates together, that's gonna help us out incredibly. So.
Oh, definitely. We've had such a huge injection from everything that happened around the SF Hackathon week. Um, like we had the scaling blockchain as well, but just getting all those developers in the community involved. What was it, like 400 developers were at the hackathon? It was like quite a substantial turnout. And most of them were from the Bay Area. Obviously, there was a lot of people flying in as well, but I definitely feel like it's injected a lot of excitement in the community, and I expect there to be a lot more regular events around EOS.io in the future, especially with this new block producer that you've joined. And yeah, it's getting really exciting, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, holiday party. I think the 15th, maybe Starfish. You
Yeah, yeah.
guys, yeah, we can do an event here. Just get everyone together. It gets slow a little bit during the holidays, so it's good to do it right before. I think there's a Bitcoin party on the 14th here, and the 15th we could do it. But yeah, there's some audio difficulties at Shaheen. I don't know. Maybe yeah. Sometimes there's some weird issues. I don't know if he can even hear me, but it's weird that maybe some people can't hear me. But I guess Mel can hear me and Justin.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Actually, last week I was commenting on not being able to hear you, but I actually had two uh, uh, windows open for EOS Ignite. So it was like a reverberation. I hope
Oh
it
yeah,
wasn't affecting everyone else, me having two windows open, but it was kind of bad. Oh, looks like we've got Dallas in the house.
yeah,
So actually today, right, we're going to talk about karma. So Dallas is actually going to join us.
yeah. That's
And
awesome. So I'm gonna invite Dallas. Hopefully, he's got his webcam and microphone set up. So yeah, so exciting. Yeah, we'll kind of see where this takes us with kind of building up the local community here. So,
oh, definitely.
and hey,
Hey, how you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing?
good.
Not too bad.
Yeah, look nice and clear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got a couple minutes if we're still okay on time.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Should we get started?
Definitely. Yeah. Where should we start?
So maybe you could tell us how you came up with the idea of Karma, or actually go over maybe what Karma is for those who don't know, and how you came up with the idea.
Yeah. So Karma is a social network that is built on EOS. Basically, sort of the goal of the application is to, incentivize people to go out in the world and do good things and spread positivity and all that. So we've seen like all kinds of different content that people have posted so far on the beta that we're currently in. How we came up with the idea, we live here in Medellin, Colombia. The minimum wage is only a couple $100 a month, and we're just looking out and just thinking like, God, it'd be cool if people had an app where, they could maybe make some income from it, and but also have like an exponentially positive effect on people around them at the same time. So it helps it creates a cool community in the process. So it really helps everybody, kind of, if you think about it that way. And sort of went through that process and started building, putting the team together, and then got to the airdrop. You guys give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
yeah, that's cool. So yeah, Dallas was at the Tulip conference back in June during the launch. So that was cool. I was busy walking around. I didn't see the presentation then, but I was just mentioning that you were at the Tulip conference.
Yeah.
We I kind of hung out. I think we hung out a little bit after, but I missed your presentation actually, so I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was upstairs in the small stage up there. It was really loud up there, man. It was hard to do, but it was fun. It was a good turnout.
Yeah. So go ahead. Didn't want to.
Yeah. Sorry. My mistake. But basically, yeah, just sort of went from that. Started, building everything up, designing, the app, how it would look. We built a really cool team, and just started going after it. Then we, like I said, put together the airdrop. We were the second airdrop on EOS, and and then all the fun started, right? Doing all the things you have to do to make a project grow and become more available for people, and do all that kind of stuff, while just continuing to add changes to the app while it was in progress. And now we're in beta, which is really cool. We've got a few hundred people in the beta, and we're just trying to invite everybody who applied and get them on there so they can try it out. And then, in the app, we're going to be announcing a release date really soon. Just kind of cleaning it up right now. I mean, we could probably go live right now, I think, with the current state that the app's in, and be on mainnet, but we're operating on the testnet right now. We just want to, like I said, polish a few things up, but we're super excited. We've announced some cool partnerships and all that kind of stuff. So lots of stuff happening,
Definitely. I'm actually particularly excited about your DApp because you've been to San Francisco, obviously, at Tulip Conference and various other conferences, and we've got, like, even though it's not we're not part of a country that has sort of economic issues, we still have so many imbalances between the rich and the poor, and I think an app like this could really help that. So, yeah, I was wondering, could you explain, like, to everyone how the tokenomics of this works?
Yeah. I'll give a kind of a brief overview. And one thing on your point, the last point you made, basically, man, we think that what's really cool about Karma, and we're seeing it because we have ambassadors that are in Nigeria and South Korea and China and all over the place that are starting to build up and have like meetups for communities and stuff out there. So I was talking with the ambassadors for Nigeria, and it was a interesting thing thought about kind of from some of their feedback. Is just, well, we think that Karma, for some of the reasons you said, is kind of giving people in, for lack of a better word, like struggling economies where they don't have a lot of certainty around the strength of their currency. It gives them sort of a bridge to a new ecosystem or a new economy, the Karma economy, I guess you can think of it like that, with people who currently live in good economies or thriving economies, or at least stable ones where the currencies are pretty reliable, right? So, and then it sort of brings them up in the process, which is pretty cool. So the kind of a basic overview on the tokenomics, basically. So we have inflation that will help fund the rewards for the app. we really thought that that's something I think you have to be really careful with, because you don't want to have like high inflation, definitely not double-digit inflation. It's problematic for everybody. So we sort of established a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 5. We wanted to be tied to the actual number of posts on the app. So if people are doing, people are doing a lot of good deeds, what the app's actually for, going out and doing, good things, and then there'd be more inflation because there's more things done. But we may, because it's, I think, just a good thing for early adopters, we may start it out at the max and then dial it back and have it just be to fluctuate with the ratio. But basically, in that inflation, 70% of it will go to content rewards, so videos and photos. A lot more of it is going to go to videos, because it's just a lot easier to validate that people did it, and it's a funner experience to see videos on a mobile platform. So we want to incentivize, not disincentivize photos, but incentivize the right things, which we think are videos. 15% of that will go towards staking rewards, so people who power up their karma, and then 10% will go to people just for being a daily active user. So posting or upvoting or downvoting or doing anything that helps contribute to the social network. And then 5% will go to a developer fund, just for the future when other people want to try and add value to the project, as it'll be fully open source then, and people can try and add value and then apply for some of the funds that are there. We're definitely going to have some announcements coming out soon. I think we're going to restructure a little bit of the budget that we had set for like future airdrops and set it for like more rewards for people, because we think it'd be good to put karma in the hands of people who are using the app and actually doing good stuff in the world and adding value to the project and ecosystem. Where I think airdrops are great initially, but after the fact, you really got to be, like, I think, strategic with it, and if not, it's sort of just a net zero for the whole thing at best, I think. And we think it's just better to put the tokens in the hands of people. But basically, that's how the tokenomics work. And yeah, I mean, we just think it's about incentive and trying to line it up in the right way for as many people as possible. And, we're open to making changes, and ideally in the future, we want to roll out like governance aspects so people can vote and make, voice those changes themselves, and what kind of businesses can advertise and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, thanks for all that. It brings a lot more clarity on the system. And yeah, it's always great to kind of see, based on your experience, of how the airdrops are working. And you mentioned something about that, and I was always kind of debating in my mind about, okay, yeah, so what's the effectiveness of an airdrop? I think in the beginning it's a lot of good marketing and a lot of people are happy. But in the long run, like you mentioned, it's if it's not tied to activity or actual rewards that people can earn, it's a little bit. So
well, it's good to establish your base community, right, of who your token holders are, like doing it that way. Especially while we're building on EOS, it's important to get karma in the hands of people who hold EOS, because they have an incentive in karma doing well as well, but by being EOS holders, and they probably will pay attention to the product. So it's important to get the tokens to those people first. But after that, just doing them just to do them, people just, a lot of times people don't appreciate things that they get for free, or especially if it's something that they don't want. So so we think it's better to do it that way.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to just see like the activity level of those. But your app is not out yet, so I mean there is a beta. So maybe people will start using it more when it's just a kind of open to everybody, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we just, for the beta, we didn't invite. It wasn't fully public. Like, we had people who applied. We had over 1,000 people who applied, and we've been emailing those people, just onboarding them, a few hundred at a time. And so I think we're just almost at the end of the list. And so I don't know how many people we have on there right now. I gotta check. It's at least a few hundred every day. And then, but if you look on like DApp Radar, we have on any given day like 500 to 1,000 people staking their karma, powering up, claiming, and that kind of stuff. So I don't think adoption will be a challenge. We're like, just in the future, we're going to roll into a way where people can sign up without an EOS account, without a private key, and then that will be super easy to have people adopt the app and start using it.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Like, how are you kind of seeing that? Where I think that's really one of the biggest challenges for mainstream adoption is really key management. And
Yep. Yeah, key management's important. I mean, there's a lot of ways it can be done. You know, some ways some apps are using now is like for iPhone, you know, you have a secure enclave to store your key and hold your key there. And then, you know, that way you don't ever see it. It's almost like if it's embedded in Scatter, but I guess the difference in Scatter, you can, you know, drop that in and out. But that just allows you to sign transactions only with your phone. But again, it's somewhat problematic if you lose your phone, right? Because the key's like in your phone. Yeah, I mean, and then the other ways you can kind of create a sub identity for people and then have one account manage the whole thing. You know, that's what's one way to do it as well. But there's a lot of ways to do it, I guess. So we're going to try and roll it the way that we think could work probably the best for the most people, and then, you know, kind of see how it works.
Is that wait? So which is there? Have you guys disclosed like how you?
We haven't announced it yet. No, we're still working on finalizing all the details in the smart contract. But basically, I mean, we're probably going to be going with the identities way and give that option for people where it kind of under one account creates identities for people. We're the details on how it'll work and all that before, you know, obviously well before people can use it, and then test it, you know, and let people test it who want to try it first. But yeah, so it's a lot of different ways. I know Block One's app is supposed to be coming out that will let you sign transactions. So that's another thing maybe that can integrate in the future. But there's just so many things changing so fast. So, you know, we just want to try and do it the safest way.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think that's great. Well, one last thing, you mentioned something about videos, which is cool. Like I didn't think about that before, but yeah, videos are a lot harder to kind of spoof, or, you know, just like, because I know I've been, you know, posting on Steemit, and I know there's a lot of like bot issues and things like that, but videos, videos are a lot harder. So it seems I think that's a good thing that you guys are focusing on videos instead of text content.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything, I mean, it's like oversaid by a lot of people, but everything is going mobile, and people now more than ever watch videos on their phone, you know, more than ever. And it's increasing like every day, every month, really. So we think it's important to support that. And for the whole nature of the platform, like it just makes more sense to have a lot of the content be video.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just the growth is crazy. The infrastructure is there. I mean, I remember in the internet, you know, it took some time, like from the beginning of the internet, but now it seems as though like the infrastructure for video is like, and mobile is just there, so that the growth rates are just much higher than just regular just desktop and you know, just reading.
Exactly.
So that's great. That's great.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Well, yeah. Anything else I can answer for you guys before
I'd love to quickly like run through like a use case. Like say I wanted to distribute food to the kind of needy like once a week. I wanted to like set something up at a park where, you know, like I bring soup or something that I cook up in large quantities. Would I publicize this on Karma beforehand, or how would I?
So
people do?
Yeah. I mean, so initially, right? Like, I mean, there's I guess a couple ways. So initially, you know, first and foremost, Karma is just like, you know, just a social network where, you know, you and I can interact. We can follow each other. We can look at the stuff that you do, that I do. You can find cool things other people are doing, and just by giving them a like, you can give them some karma from the ecosystem but through the small inflation, and that's, you know, how the rewards would come. Obviously, how much they get is going to be dependent on how much karma you have staked, so they can get it from that. If it's more of like an event type of thing like that you're talking about, where it may require some karma that, let's say, you don't have, I mean, we want to have an option in there where people can sort of, and maybe there can be some community like pot, almost like a worker proposal fund, but for doing cool stuff, where people can maybe contribute to it, or it's within the inflation and then people can apply for that. But I think something like that is gonna, if it's a community thing, it like a whole community thing, it would probably require voting to be able to do it in like a better way. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure, you know, we can have people organize initiatives on there, ask for certain karma or a certain amount of karma to do it that way. And then the other aspect, something we're going to roll in soon. We've already announced one partnership, but we're going to have an option on there as well for charities who verifiably do good stuff with the money that they have. And there'll be a certain section in the app in the Discover page you can find them and look at the stuff that they've done, and you know, they'll be encouraged to create content with the money that they get donated to them through the app. so you can see, you know, the actual good being done with the money that you donate to cool initiatives. So yeah, so if that answers your question, kind of you know, probably the two best ways are in the works. But there is a way you can technically still do it on like version 1, kind of asking for that.
Okay, so that makes sense. So you kind of record your actions if it's kind of like you know, just to follow on Justin's example, where that's more like, you know, recording an, instead of recording an action, you just, whatever people think is, you know, is positive that you post about is more like where, you know, people get rewarded karma. So you kind of post things that generally it could be things that people like, or also like they see a good action that you're taking on a video, let's say, and they'll reward you that way. So
exactly. Yeah, but there's a lot more stuff will come out on it. I know Mel, I think, asked a question there about like the total supply of tokens. Honestly, I mean, the thinking with it was just, I mean, for us, like the number 9 is like in numerology is like, you know, karma historically. So the airdrop was supposed to be 6 to 1, but we ended up wanting to make it 9 to 1. So we kind of knew doing that it made sense to have a bigger supply, number 1. But number 2, you know, I think people are more inclined to want to share it with other people when if the value is not, you know, $700 per karma, like it's hard to give somebody one, you know, if you only have one. So we thought it's just for shareability for that reason. But there's no real rhyme or reason. Like, I mean, here's the thing, like 1 trillion tokens seems really stupid, and then like 1 million seems really stupid also. So anything above that, it's kind of just, you know, whatever feels right, I guess, if that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of probably not the best answer, but it makes sense having a higher supply for the project, and the numbers just kind of worked out.
Yeah, the free market will kind of just figure all of that out in the end, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Jaron had a question about ambassador. What's ambassadors, like, how do you what's the criteria?
Yeah. So for the ambassadors, guys, basically on our website, there's a form to fill out if someone wants to apply. We're rolling out certain programs that like kind of incentivize ambassadors, where there's certain things they could do that will earn them X amount of karma that is from, you know, sort of the team, or I should say the marketing budget, you know, because it's helping to sort of grow the karma ecosystem. So if people want to apply, they can go there, and then we have an ambassadors manager named Shane, who's helping out to organize all that stuff. So he's in a Telegram group. People can message him as well if they want to do that. But yeah, if you guys if there's any more questions you guys have, I'm happy to answer. If not, I got to scoot out of here. I got another call in a sec. You guys don't.
Okay, so just I guess for clarity for the last question, how can you qualify, I guess? Or
yeah, so we don't necessarily have like specific qualifications, right? It's like just because someone comes on as an ambassador, right, you don't just get a salary right away, right? But there are certain actions people can do, and if people seem passionate and excited about the project and they do those actions will benefit the community. So it's sort of action based, right? I mean, it's not you know, you can, if you're 7'5", you can definitely be an ambassador as well. There's no, you know, specific like qualifications or disqualifications, I guess, for people, you know, but some of those things are, you know, posting about karma, running a karma Instagram for their particular area, throwing an event, and all these different, so there's a lot of different things, and they can look at sort of what some of our ambassadors are already doing to get a gauge for the kind of stuff that they're doing.
Okay, so but yeah, I think that's great. Jaron, also, you got some follow-ups if you want to answer that.
Yeah, I think how do you measure that is probably in regards to what they're doing. I mean, what they're doing, you know, if you post about it, you show the post. If you do an event, you document the event. You know, you you record it. And then is it transparent as far as what they're doing? No, I mean, it's not, you know, bots posting. We want like authentic stuff, so they're required to show it. And also it's not, you know, 1,000 karma per post, and if someone does 1,000 posts, there's maximums to some of the things just in the beginning while we're trying to fill it out and make like a good system. So it's got to be transparent to be able to measure everything.
And there's a reputation system built in, is there?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, obviously, if someone earns a lot of karma, right, that's usually a pretty good measure that they've done quite a bit of stuff. You know, just having a lot of karma doesn't necessarily mean you do or you don't, but we want to incorporate the earned metric into it because it's probably the most important one.
Okay. Last question I have before you leave, like, what's your growth strategy?
Yeah.
Like, what's like, this is always like in the Silicon Valley, we're always talking, okay, how do you scale? What's your growth strategy?
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot. That's a kind of a long discussion, I guess. But I'll give you kind of the high view of it. So initially, right, I mean, we're going to launch to use the app. You're going to have to log in with your private key. So that doesn't make sense for like mainstream audiences, really. So we're going to go, first things first is to build our community with like EOS people, Steam people who understand this and are excited about it. Then moving, once we roll out sort of the light accounts that we were kind of discussing earlier, where you don't need that to sign up, we are going to incorporate a ton of things. So working with influencers, we're even talking about opening a coffee shop here where we live and getting an initiative to do that so that there's like physical locations to go spend karma and meet up and do all kind of things in relation to it. But beyond that, we want to work with a lot of like YouTube influencers, Instagram influencers, people who we think align well, who may already be doing this kind of stuff, but on their platforms. And then, other organizations make a lot of sense, like churches, and just religious groups. They're already actively doing this kind of stuff with some consistency. So, if you sort of get a head of a church excited about it and they've got 1,000 members, it's probably a good amount of users who will probably use the app the right way. So there's so many different ways. But yeah, sort of going after blockchain people first, and then secondly will be the more like mainstream, not mainstream, but just like, I guess, like mass adoption, which everyone talks about, kind of the, my mom, my cousin type of people who aren't already using blockchain stuff,
Makes sense. Yeah, that's yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate kind of all the input, or all the kind of clarity behind all of what karma is. We'll probably go over the white paper kind of after you kind of leave us here, but really appreciate it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we have some cool announcements coming out soon. So and there may be a couple, like I said, like an extra rewards type of thing for people that isn't in the white paper. So people can look out for that, like on our Medium or in the Telegram group as well. But yeah, let me know whenever we have this again, and I'd love to hop on with you guys.
Definitely. Sounds good. All right, awesome. All right, Dallas.
All right, guys.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Cheers. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Take care. All right.
Oh,
So yeah, it's cool. Yeah. It makes a whole lot of sense. It's just starting with the crypto people. It's not the technology really for all of these apps are not just blockchain in general. It's not mainstream. Like the tech isn't there for the mainstream yet, right? So I think the key management is the toughest thing. So you almost have to start with people who are at least aware of blockchains and know a little bit about key management. And but anyway, so it makes sense. It's like you can't really at this point with any app go directly to the mainstream unless you find a way to either custody people's keys or do things that are with things like that. It's not ready right now. What do you think, Justin? Like what?
Yeah, we'll see what they can do with the UX, but you're definitely right. It is kind of hard with key management and that type of thing, but depending on their implementation. But I do envisage probably it will be the crypto crowd who get into it first. And I was going to say that's kind of a good thing because a lot of them have become rich, but the way the markets are performing at the moment, like that's not so much the case. But it's really exciting, like what it could do to charities. Like I'm hoping charities might run the organization of all their activities and distributing their, I don't know if you would call it a workforce, but their force of people who are working on things. I think that could be really exciting to enable them by giving them a mechanism to pay people if that's the type of charity it is, where people can get some sort of payment for helping out. But anything that will help economize charitable work, because it's very hard for people to contribute to things if they don't get some sort of reward, because at the end of the day people need to eat and pay rent and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's great if people can start to get something back from all the hard work that they're doing for the community.
Yeah, it's a very simple way to do it too. The way it's really yeah, just recording kind of whatever actions you do. I just on a video, just say, hey, I've done this XYZ. I've volunteered at a soup kitchen here, and this is my experience, and then people can just vote. It's probably an easier way to do it. I'm wondering though how the cultural, if it'll remain that way, or it'll be just people are posting about just general stuff. So I'm wondering where the kind of the it's kind of like the community and the culture of it will dictate what type of posts get rewarded. So I'm wondering if there's because it's karma is more about like actions like you're mentioning, but
definitely it'll evolve over time, won't it? Because I remember when like Facebook came out, like when it first came out, and even things like Twitter, like people would post things like I'm eating this for dinner, like I don't know, just like very basic, like hi everyone, like that would be their post. Like it was very unsophisticated, and then like the actual way people talk on there actually develops over time, and certain use cases really take off and others kind of die.
True. And but the good thing is it's the brand. I think the brand does it. Like, so karma itself, it'll be kind of self-reinforcing just because the brand, I think, really influences the culture. So the name, the idea, the concept, and that,
and the UX as well.
Yeah.
Just like going back to my example of Facebook, I think like what they used to have in the suggestion was like, what are you doing now? And then people would kind of, that would dictate what the posts end up being. But if you have good UX that encourages maybe the things that they want to see the most, like what big thing are you doing for the community today? Well, I don't know. Well, guide the direction of the community.
No, definitely. It's just exactly, that's a great point. What positive actions have you taken today or something? Are you taking currently, right? And so it almost even reminds people, hey, maybe I should just record what I'm actually doing, because it is bringing a positive action in this, in the world today. So then they'll just snap a photo or just do a quick video, like, because some people might not even think about it at any given point in time. So the idea that you can put it in the UX UI makes a whole lot of sense. It's great way to think about it. So yeah, the brand, the UI UX, everything, I think will probably shape the activities on the platform. And I think a lot of people, influencers and whatnot, they do those kinds of things anyways. And so this is a way for a lot of influencers to also earn karma while they're making these videos, positive videos.
I wonder if there'll be a lot of fraud on there. That's one of the things that would be good to find out from Dallas next time.
I was thinking about that too. But then you have, I think the brand as well can at least minimize that, because hey, this is karma too. Like idea of karma. It's a little like, so it's like, okay, well maybe the idea of karma will minimize that too, because it's like the brand's right there. It's karma, so you don't want to do bad things either, right? Like, so.
And the community will evolve to judge people's contributions more critically over time. The more karma someone earns, the more people will judge them and really try and see if will try and call bullshit on them. But yeah, it's like any website. Like there's certain things that people look for to make them trust that entity, whether it's a retail shop. I imagine it to be the same for someone posting their social media material about what they're doing for the community. Like people want to see like a video, because that's like more reputable than just photos. I don't know, but the people who try and scam, like they get smarter as the community gets smarter. So it'd be good if there is some sort of arbitration system or some sort of lockup system where people can judge and validate the actions. before the person is able to withdraw the money and then exchange it for money, or exchange their karma for a stable token, so you don't have that cash grab.
Yeah, so there is a downvote feature on Karma as well, which I think they're probably. I mean, I did read in their white paper. They're probably aware of kind of the downsides of any system where if it's all like one way, then people will try to take advantage. GoFundMe is just a recent example. There was some. It was big in the news. The GoFundMe campaign for I think $400,000, where a homeless person, I guess, had like helped someone get gas, and it was like it was the last, change he had and then he helped someone else like get gas, and it was like nice, very beautiful story, but it ended up being like just a scam, it seems. And yeah, and so there was so GoFundMe is like refunding that amount, and it was and they were charged like I think the local, I think it was the district attorney or attorney general from the state or whatever, were charged the three people as for crimes. So it's just interesting to see that. Yeah, even GoFundMe is a great example, I think, because that's all about helping people in more charitable projects. So yeah, that can't, you do come across those kinds of things you have to be careful of, especially if it's just direct money. Like, I mean, just like fundraising, ICOs, it's kind of similar, where you're just giving people money and you're trusting people. And that's where the most, I think, I guess, malevolent or bad activities happen, because it's so easy. I mean, people are just directly giving you money. Same thing with GoFundMe's, the donations. Like, same thing. You can't trust that just because it's a charitable organization that they're not going to take advantage of that. So. So wow. Should we go over the white paper? I know it's I did see it was about 16 pages. It doesn't seem that long. It's a nice easy, not, I don't want to say easy. It's a nice looking white paper. Very, very, very nicely designed. Do you want to go over it real quick, Justin? Or?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to do a screen share, or I can do a screen share?
Maybe you do a screen share.
Okay, so let me see if I can do this here. Okay, this is the white paper. So do you guys see it right now?
Yep.
Okay, so let me, how do I view this a little bit?
Zoom. I think you can zoom in a tiny bit, maybe.
Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah, that's much better. Perfect.
Okay, so karma, incentivizing beneficial interactions. Dallas, who was here earlier, it's version 1.7 of the white paper. I like this. This is really just one page saying what karma is. The sum of a person's actions in this and previous states of existence, viewed as deciding their fate in future existences. Karma. Very kind of a spiritual word, right? And the idea of karma, reincarnation, and whatnot is just interesting to think about, right? So let's go back. Table of contents, abstract, app functions. So upvote, downvote, comment, share, categories, user profile, in-app wallet, karma posts, karma idea generator. So there's a upvote, downvote, comment, share, typical social media activities, and then there's this a karma post and a karma idea generator. Maybe we can go to that. That seems a little bit more specific to karma. Economic system, page 6. Let's just go through just maybe. Economic system is page 6. which does the token supply, airdrop, distribution, application, and then starting a grassroots ecosystem. And that's pretty much it. And governance, 12. So let's just go to, do you want to skip to page 5 maybe? Or,
yeah, that sounds good.
Should we read this too? Or, imagine a system that enables someone to wake up every day, decide how they can improve the life of another, take action immediately, and earn a reward when sharing their positive actions with others. Monetary incentive and economic freedom historically have been the greatest driving forces to improve both societies as a whole and the quality of life of the individual. Apart from the personal karma one might receive from the ether, there isn't a tremendous amount of incentive to do good in the world of scarce resources. For billions of people around the world, the opportunities to earn an income are slim. Beyond those scarce opportunities, even fewer of them add tremendous value to the communities in which the individuals live. Karma believes that if basic human needs are met, it is in our DNA to interact positively with one another. So I won't read the rest of it, but yeah, that's great. I mean, that's great. I think they do a great job with just, the white paper, just explaining things. So app functions, let's go to page 5 because I think these are pretty standard in social media. So, but then the karma post is a little bit different, right? Users will be able to post both photos and videos of their karma event. So it's a karma specific event, which is kind of cool because in Steam, that's really what drived a lot of early content, is like posts about Steam and Steam It. And those that were the stakeholders in the system, those are the posts that they people like to read about. Number one, because they're part of a community. Number two, those were the most rewarded. So I remember in the early days, I used to, I knew that. It was like, hey, if you write about Steam and Steam It, those are the ones that people get excited about, and those are the big stakeholders really want, like nice promotional pieces for people to know more about and learn more about Steam and Steam It. And
definitely, still even today, you see mainly things about crypto. Like it hasn't moved away significantly from that focus on the crypto community, which will be nice once it finally does do that.
Yeah. I agree with you there, and I think DTube actually does a good job of that. I think they somehow filter out Steam and Steam It posts and also just crypto posts, it seems, because, and it does seem a lot more mainstream. DTube, which is a video platform on top of Steam, for those that don't know. But anyways, I think it is good that they are, at least they understand kind of the benefits of just promoting their own platform. But I'm sure the karma event has something to do with doing good, right? So
yeah.
So this is about videos and posts. So I think a karma post, photos and videos. So they just specify photos and videos as a karma post. I think they're just.
It's a good suggestion. I think, scientifically, it's been proven that videos get more shares and retweets and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And also for this kind of thing, it acts as more of a proof than just a post, I guess.
Yeah, videos are definitely the future for sure. I mean, I'm older and I'm old school, so I still read, but most people get all their content with photos, Instagram and videos, YouTube right now. So upload karma posts.
So that's interesting. They add a caption, location, and category. So I wonder if they'll use proof of location at some point, so people don't kind of spoof their location and pretend that they're doing it from a certain location, if that's part of the social proof that's required.
True. I think that's possible. That's possible. I think you'd really probably have to try hard to to try to spoof those kinds of things. And, you know, people, if you get called out on it, it's probably not that hard. Like, you're five different places around the world at the same time. You know?
Jared's asking if anyone in this meeting has the app. That would be great if someone does. I put myself on the list a while ago, but I invite them. Has it, then they should, yeah, join in the conversation, and we could view it on their PC.
You know, I just signed up today on the website, so I'm not gonna probably get signed up for a while. I mean, if you've already signed up kind of in the past, so
Yeah.
so that's cool. So I think that's great. It actually makes more sense where the action, you just post a location, you just type a quick caption, and that's it. It's like, okay, I did this thing, you know, and it's really, you know, they probably make it easy to do that. So idea generator as well. In a world of endless possibilities, Karma believes that there's an endless amount of beneficial human interactions to have with one another. So within the application, there'll be a Karma idea generator. It's to spark ideas as to what someone can do next to provide value for others in the world. So that's kind of cool too. You just think of an idea. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if, you know, X, Y, Z, you know, that can help, you know, this group of people, or
definitely. Hopefully it can guide people to where all the needs are. Maybe there's hopefully a machine learning aspect in that eventually.
Yeah, seriously, AI and machine learning is probably going to be integrated with almost everything, all features of most apps.
Yeah. I wonder if governments will be involved in some way to show people the way, like in terms of what needs to be done in the community. I wonder what the big players will do. Like I wonder who's going to be the people who are buying up large amounts of Karma and trying to utilize the system to fix up the community.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how it is. I'm not. I'm wondering. Yeah, for governments, I think it'd just be. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know how they'll interact. We'll kind of take a wait. I'll take a wait and see approach to see if, like, it's you know, most governments don't want to be affiliated with kind of a private project too much. But if it is a charitable project, maybe it's okay. But I think governments also want to kind of be in control of whatever activities they're involved with under their brand, like the government, right? So
sure.
Preventing abuse, this is what they talk about, essentially what we talked about before, about like either fake actions or spam. I guess the downvote is one of the ways to prevent abuse. Users will be able to report the profile. So multiple users that make reports will count as a strike. Karma will implement a 3-strike rule. When a user is reported as spam 3 times, their account will be temporarily frozen. So yeah, there's you know, there's sort of a process and also some evaluation, probably by the team.
This is where it gets complicated. Like, how do you stop people from making multiple accounts and then, for some reason, trying to get someone banned by reporting 3 times on 3 separate accounts?
Yeah,
that's where it gets super.
Yeah. I mean, if there is, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I do think it'll be challenged in a way, or, you know, people who are in the crypto, they'll do it just to even as a white hack kind of activity. They'll just try to figure out how to you know, corrupt the system somehow, and and so it'll help improve kind of defense as well. Like people will know what to look out for and how to improve the system for to prevent abuse. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. Economic system. Maybe we'll just go to the economic system. Token supply is about 9.5 billion. Why an airdrop? We spoke about that a little bit earlier. Any questions, by the way? I kind of missed. I'm just going through it. Any questions so far? Okay, why an airdrop? It allows Karma to launch with a large community and enables users to become token holders without taking any risk to acquire. Okay. So yeah, this always, you know, it's interesting. I think for Karma, it's okay because again, their brand is Karma. You're giving away people stuff, and you know, their appreciation of it should be part of that karma. You know, that we're giving you tokens, so hopefully people will return the kind of the good kind of actions. A total of 5.4 billion karma will be allocated to the initial airdrop. It's based on the Genesis block snapshot. It was supposed to be 9-1, but I think he mentioned this earlier. It was intended to be distributed as 9-1, but it's closer to 5.4-1, I guess, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so certain exchanges will be excluded. Okay. Okay, founding team gets about 2.8, which is roughly what 28.5% or 28.4%. Future airdrops 1.8 or 18.9%. So there's actually a future airdrop, but they did mention that they might actually use that more for incentive rewards, more so than an airdrop, it seems.
Hmm.
About 8.4% for marketing. Advisors get about 2.7%. I'm doing the numbers right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just gotta make sure. So okay, it's very understandable. It's nothing too nothing too out of the ordinary. Self-funding application. He mentioned this. It could be an inflation of either 1 to 5%. Inflation will start at 1%. And will scale up as platform is used more. So there's a schedule for when they start to increase inflation based on the number of users. Seems to make sense. The price is going to be a big indicator, a big factor as well, right? So it's not only the inflation amount; it's more also the price, the value of the inflation. If the price goes up, then you're able to provide a lot more monetary value and probably don't need as much inflation. So it's kind of interesting, but they do it based on activity. So
Yeah, I find that kind of interesting how I've seen that a few times. I think Worbly has a similar schedule where it actually gets higher over time. I would have thought the inflation needs to be higher at the beginning and then taper down, sort of like Bitcoin works with their mining rewards.
Yeah. I could see how you can do that too.
So at the beginning, that's worth so little compared to hopefully the price increasing over time.
Yeah, that is interesting. Bitcoin has a deflationary supply curve, I guess, and I think there's benefits to that. But on the other hand, if you look at adoption, like Ethereum has no it has like continual inflation, right? I think I don't know what percent it is, but it doesn't taper or anything. But really, when you think about the supply based on existing supply, it actually works out okay, because once you get to a certain point where you have enough supply, the inflation actually is a less of a factor, right? I think so. Well, 5%. It'll just be 5% per year. I was just calculating something a while back where it was like, okay, if you're going to create a certain inflation rate that, but if it's just a percentage, it will taper out over time, because in the beginning 5% is pretty significant, I think, based on the supply, and then as it's bigger, it'll.
That's true. Actually, this sort of does make sense, because for the number of users that will be on the network, that 1% will be a big number. And then by the time it gets to 5%, with the daily posts at 50,000 plus, you'd assume that there'd be more users that are sharing the inflation. So maybe from that perspective, it does actually make sense. And I imagine once it hits 5%, it just remains at 5%.
Yeah.
Which I think economists generally say is roughly the kind of ideal amount of inflation. Well, I thought it was actually 4%, but it's around that mark.
Yeah, it's in the ballpark. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of economic theories, I guess, about what's a good inflation rate, or if this is more like, if you compare it to universal resource inheritance or something like that, that the 5% for is kind of the target number for that. So I mean, I guess between 1 to 5 is just generally the typical numbers, and I guess to max it at 5% is probably fine. And this schedule from 1 to 5% seems fine. I mean, I don't know. We're probably getting a little too detailed with this analysis. Probably it's probably not gonna kind of make or break the system. So let me see. Content curation rewards pool. 70% of it is based on content creation. I forget what Steam is like. Video posts get 95%. Photo posts get 5%.
Oh wow!
Wow, so that's a pretty big difference. But maybe in terms of engagement, and maybe there's some science behind those numbers, where a video is that much more valuable than a photo.
Yeah, they're heavily encouraging videos, right?
Yeah, and maybe that's based on like people's engagement. Like videos are a lot more valuable. Maybe, I don't know, 95 to 5 seems to somewhat make sense in some ways, from a content perspective, a value of content perspective. But I don't know. I'd like to see some statistics on that. There is staking. 15% of awards are staked, so that if you just stake them, you earn as well. User engagement rewards, 10%. So if you're actively participating in just using the app, maybe upvotes and downvotes, doing things like that, you'll get rewards. It's not just the posting, but anything you do. So that's kind of like the curation rewards on Steam. Karma platform development pool, that will just so they want to create a DAC, which is cool. Just until Karma evolves into a complete DAC, decentralized autonomous community. These will be paid to developers, which is fine, 5%. Oh, this is where it goes. Why the weight of rewards on content, photo content versus video content? Current user data on existing social content sharing platforms would suggest that video receives significant better engagement than photo content. This data is extremely relevant for several reasons. Engagement at its core is simply an individual's focus and attention on a given item for a certain period of time. If a user is engaged, they are more likely to have a great experience and also be inspired by others to take action. and do their own good deeds in the world using karma, it becomes exponentially easier to validate whether a particular karma post most likely happened when posted as a video. So it's partly for protection, and it's partly for engagement. So it'd be interesting to know how much more engagement you have in videos generally, and then it also helps for spam. So that's that's another reason why they probably make it that that ratio of 95 to 5%.
Definitely. Actually, Jaron made a really good point here that the bandwidth required to create videos, like good videos, to turn away from the platform. It does, like, you know, from John, you make a lot of videos. It requires a lot more effort to create a video generally. So I'm thinking like they'll have to make that process really, really kind of easy and popular in order to help encourage people to continue to make video content as opposed to other content.
So yeah, that's interesting. Video and content is just interesting in general. I think people's attention span is very short too. So we do these long videos. It's not like the most effective. I think short videos are generally favored, of course, and people should make edited content and short content. So I know Vine was 6 seconds. I think people's attention span is around that. So the engagement.
Yeah. But Vine failed, didn't it? It went out of business. So
yeah, and I don't know what the reasoning. There were probably other reasons why, but the attention span for Vine was, and so YouTube encourages, I think, posts like I think the sweet spot is maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but they also encourage reward longer content, so that if people are very engaged for a long time, you get rewarded for that. So Vine and Clout had a baby. It'd be called Karma App. So I haven't used Clout much, and I've seen Vine videos mostly through YouTube. So I wasn't an active user, but you'd have a collection of Vine posts like in YouTube, and it kind of be.
As they don't like people will be encouraged to do video content by the fact that they know it does better generally. Like people know on Twitter that if you post a video or an image, it does better than writing something. So you think like the system itself would encourage that just by the results. So it's interesting that they felt the need to add an extra economic kind of measure in the system to help encourage it even more.
That's true too. Sometimes you kind of can over design systems that way. For this particular case, this is an example of this will just maybe I hope won't confuse people, but on Steam there used to be a huge emphasis, and I still don't know if this is the right thing or a wrong thing, but they used to emphasize, or Dan designed Steam to reward the stake kind of almost exponentially, so that if you were a whale, you would even have extra power as a whale. Like you'd almost have a exponential power as a whale. And he was just saying that because he wanted to favor, like the value of a post would have a certain kind of Pareto principle, where the top post would be far more valuable than the second best post, right? And then the second would have far more value than the third. So he tried to design it such a way that would occur, but I don't know if that was over designing it, where if that's naturally what that's naturally what happens, you don't have to also kind of add an extra design on top of that to even create a greater amount of rewards. So it'd be interesting to see if this is that kind of case. I don't know if I'm explaining well, but we'll see, because it seems pretty maybe video is that much more valuable. Maybe it's like 80-20 or something. So we'll see. I mean, video. I think it'll be a good exercise to see how much how much data we could get online about what the value of video versus photo is, and just be able to use those numbers. And it may be pretty close. Maybe it's like 90-10, maybe it's 80-20. And then at this point, it's the rest of the reason that they want to prefer video is to prevent abuse. So I think it's fine. So zero fees. Oh, that's just, I assume that's just EOS. Staking karma for a stronger upvote. It's like Steam Power, right? Steam, it was the first social media platform on a blockchain. It probably was one of the first, but it allows you to, you only are able to upvote by staking. So this probably allows both. Like you could be unstaked, and I assume that you can vote because it says staking karma for a stronger upvote. That implies that even for people without stake, they can still upvote. So okay, right here it explains it. Upvote weight when staking tokens. So if it's 0 to 99 karma, it's 1/10. If you have 100, that's kind of the base level. 1,000 karma gives you 10 times the base level. So there is some sort of interesting weighting system for staking. So if you have 10,000 karma, your upvote is 100x. So we'll see. Like maybe this is where you're talking about. Maybe this is it could be over designing if it's if it's so favorable to those that have that much stake. 100 times,
It encourages people to make a lot of accounts with 10,000 karma in their account. Perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah, this is kind of like I was never sure if it was a good design or not, but the older Steam model had this where the greater amount of stake really supercharged your ability to earn and also reward. So
you don't want to make it, I guess, too hard over time for new users to come in and still feel like that they can have an influence in the system. That's where you get problems with this sort of thing. Like, as this gets more popular, the value of one karma goes up, and
yeah. No, I'm laughing.
If anyone
the reason
content to be seen, do they need 10,000 karma?
Yeah. So the reason why I'm laughing is because they have a Dan Larimer quote right after, like, because I was talking about Steam, right? And it was like it was really the way he designed Steam originally. So it gives people influence and clout on the platform. This is something intrinsic, something of intrinsic value, which will provide the base of demand. Everything else is all perception. So it's a different kind of quote about staking Steam, but his design was like original design, which it changed. Steam is now more linear. It doesn't have this kind of emphasis on like the whale votes. So it has changed. So so the other thing you mentioned, Justin, about 10,000 karma. If you have more than 10,000 karma, you're at 100x anyway. So it's probably not going to incentivize you to create more, right?
Yeah.
You just put in the same account and have the same effect, I guess. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if that design is good, because that reminds me a little bit of the old Steam model, and I still don't know if what was better, but it seemed to me an over design, kind of instinctually. So okay, starting a grassroots ecosystem. Is this the last? For page 14. Airdrop via the initial token distribution, acquire karma, earn karma, use cases for karma. We probably mentioned that. Research, rewards for posts, payments. You could do payments. You could do tipping and donating. You can stake. You can promote posts. That's kind of like Steemit. Advertisers run ads with the app using Karma. Advertisers, so very similar to Steemit in that way too. Donate to disaster relief. Exchange for products through socially conscious businesses, and Karma accepting merchants. So that's kind of cool. They can build partnerships with those that they believe are socially conscious. When Karma becomes a DAC, voting on community propositions and decisions. Governance. Initially, any governance decisions will be made transparently by a moderation team. I know Jaron had a question about this. So,
yeah, I wonder, is that moderation team centralized, or will they be voted for by the community?
It's the Karma core team and advisors.
Okay, so yeah.
So, and the top 10 Karma earners also qualify.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So they won't earn an income, but they'll be moderating. So, legal disclaimers, last pages. Oh, these are pictures of the app. I think that's it. Wow. Okay, we covered. Any questions, guys? Like Justin? It's a very simple, clean white paper. The model is kind of Steem and Steemit in terms of a lot of the design, which is fine. I think there's been a lot of evidence that Steem and Steemit is generally working, and because of their focus on videos, I think they get away from a lot of the bot troubles that Steem encounters. It has a focus, it's more about doing good things and being socially conscious. So I think it's good for millennials, right? That's
definitely.
So I think let me close out. Any other questions about the white paper, Justin?
I think I'm excited by it, but I think it's got a lot of moving parts, and it's like trying to design an economy on the fly is very, very difficult. I'm worried they're trying to chew too much all at once, but we'll see. I'm really optimistic about it. I think there's a need for it. There's a huge need for it, actually. I feel like a lot of things in society aren't monetized at the moment, and they probably should be. And this will hopefully help to do that. Mel's got a question. Anyone know the estimated release date?
So they do have a roadmap, and I don't know how accurate this is currently, but on karmaapp.io, Q4 is the targeted release date for version 1.0. So Q4. So we're probably I'm thinking Q1 right now. Probably launch beginning of the year at this point, because we're getting into the holidays. So that's my expectation.
Definitely.
The transactions that are occurring, how are they happening? I think that's the beta, Jaron. So, which is pretty good. I mean, if maybe I should share my screen here. If Chromium DAP radar, so you can see, you can see activity, right? Users.
I guess this must be on exchanges, because are they tradable at the moment?
Am I on the right Karma? Yeah, it's they're not. Are they? Oh, is this just use volume, or is this trading volume? No, this is users. So users is, it shows about 600.
Well, I guess people are getting their stake rewards at the moment. I'm not sure if the current DApp that you can download and try out, if that's running on chain. Perhaps it is. I would love to try it out.
Yeah, maybe. So it's hard to say. Maybe that is just trading. So
Yeah,
So there's
trading and staking. And I think the staking is a really good idea as well, because it it means people kind of lock up their tokens and they're not trading them, which is always good for the price, right? I think that's the technique that Steam utilizes as well. Um, it encourages people to keep money in the system, sort of like a savings account.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too. Staking, like I know my friend is like really into staking systems and says that everything's gonna have to have some level of staking or else they won't hold crypto. But because, compared to a crypto that provides staking, so that may be true. That could be. Then again, you also want a good good token or cryptocurrency to hold. So you might not necessarily always be incentivized by the returns, right? So let me just close out here. So check the contract action. So Jaren's saying just check the contract action. So should I maybe I can share that too? Maybe let me go to the blocks.io. So see if blocks.io is a block explorer. Most of it seems transfers, right?
There's a contract actions tab. Is this it?
Whoops, I'm in a different.
You're in all transactions. There's a tab next to it, next to all transactions. The contract actions. Scroll up to it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in all. So should I go to contract?
Yeah. So it looks like claim, create, issue, power down, power up, refund, rewarded, transfer. I think this is all for all that kind of powering up and powering down, the staking mechanism.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, but transfer as well, so people can transfer. So that's why it's tradable on exchanges. I don't know what the actual other ones would be.
Yeah. So I mean, this is good as for those that blocks.io is a good block explorer, can show you what types of actions you can make on a smart contract, and
it's rewarded as well. Yeah, I don't know. That could be part of the staking mechanism. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of evaluate a little bit more, but anyways, it does seem interesting. I think it's in a nutshell, it's like I think it's good that they did took a lot from the Steam model. They didn't try to create too much on their own. They were just trying to probably improve a little bit on Steam, focus more on videos, have a specific kind of theme, which is karma and good deeds. So I think it's and their tokenomics are generally in line with what Steam is like. So I think there's not too many unusual things. So I think generally it's good. It's about how the community grows, how people like it. That's where we will have to kind of wait and see what kind of traction it could get. But generally, yeah, it seems like a cool. Nicely designed app too. I wonder who their designers are, but very, very simple. White paper is well done too, very simple. So,
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm just really looking forward to checking it out.
Cool.
It's just you can only do so much, I guess, theorizing on these things until you get it into your hands and you get to try it.
Yeah. So the only other thing, the airdrop, I think, is the only thing that where y'all already have so much supply out there, kind of 50% of the tokens. It might be okay. I mean, people are trading it, but you almost, if one of the things, and I'll give you an example with Steam, is that they mined, like the company mined essentially more than half the tokens early on. It was for legal reasons and others, but that's how Steam came into existence. Like they, you know, Steam it or the company created or mined most of it into existence, and then they started distributing it out to those witnesses. These are the block producers on Steam, and so they got a lot of power over time because they paid out the witnesses or block producers on Steam very significantly, and so so then they got to decide which posts were the most valuable. People always mention that there could have been a better distribution model in the beginning to maybe have it more democratized, because it was very concentrated within the company, within the whales eventually, and then just everybody who has kind of the stake kind of dictated how the system was going to occur, or how it was going to run. And so with Karma, you have these massive airdrops, but right now it's mostly speculative and trading, I assume. So we'll see. It does give it out to more people. That might be a good thing, but maybe there could have been a design where you just give it out to users and they earn it. Like you mine by participating, like, and that you get kind of distribution from the outside just to those that are participating. That might be been a good model. It would have been probably a better model, definitely, than Steam. Because you had concentrations too early on. So yeah, I think for a future system, I think where if you can earn it from the outset by using the app and just reward all the early users somehow the most, I think that would probably be the best design in my mind.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really good opportunity to utilize Warbly with like the KYC AML vetted users, because you know that they're legitimate real users individually. So you could give them a bunch of Karma or whatever token it is, just for signing up, or just for a certain amount of usage of the app, prove that they're regular users. Because I think that is the future, and the reason that people are avoiding that is because people will make like a bunch of accounts or set up a bot army, and try and game the system. So at the moment, there's a heavy focus on airdrops, which verifies that these people have skin in the game because they've been involved in like an ICO, obviously like the EOS ICO. But yeah, I think it has its problems because it's not encouraging legitimate real users. They could be just investors, and the whales generally get big, like fatter as time goes on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, 100%. And identity is the key to this. Once the identity system is, and that's really a huge challenge. But I think Dan seems to be confident that he's solved that, and I think there are solutions there too. So biometrics is, I think, the solution. Oh, I forgot to check out the app. I know he had it at the hackathon, or someone had it at the hackathon, like a beta version of the wallet. So I'm excited. I think it's close to there. I say Web of Trust is also to me should be a backup system where you can have unique identities based on biometrics, but also have some kind of Web of Trust surrounding that to further, I guess, uniquely identify people based on their trust circles. I think that there's already, I know Samada and many other companies have found mathematically robust Web of Trust systems. So I think that should naturally be, at least as a backup, or can almost now be used as the main source of civil protection and unique identities. And so Mel says iris scan. I think, yeah, one of the hackathon projects, one of the hackathon winners in, I think it was Hong Kong, had used iris scans, which are supposedly better than fingerprints. So, but then you still have to find a way to scan your eye. Like you need the technology to do that, right? So,
yeah, the devices in people's hands that can do that. Another one I've heard thrown around is proof of location. I think like it'll be a combination of all these things that make up a digital identity.
Yeah, that's actually cool too. Yeah, that wasn't an area I focused on, but I could imagine. Yeah, proof of location is also it could be very relevant. If it can be, if it can, yeah, if it could be on a blockchain. I mean, if you have proof of location on blockchain. The only other thing, yeah, I think it's more about radical transparency. So I guess you have to disclose where you are. I mean, there's always privacy concerns with all of these measures, with whether it's biometrics or proof of location or even web of trust.
True.
It's almost like you have to disclose your relationships, your location, your but it's almost like, okay, that's the whole other big debate. I mean, I think radical transparency is okay. You should have an option for privacy somehow, where you just kind of like switch it off. But I think in general it's okay. Like in general, it's okay to be radically transparent where you are, like what biometric.
Yeah, like, yeah. Hopefully they find a way to like prove location, but have the locations encrypted on the blockchain, like a location history, but there's kind of algorithms and smart contracts judging whether that's valid and hasn't been spoofed, without actually anyone ever actually seeing your location, unless you unlock kind of that ability to them.
Yeah. It's probably, you just need an algorithm behind. You don't need to know where people are. It's more so the algorithm should determine that you're kind of in a certain area that's unique to any other that you can, so that you won't take advantage of the system. So no, I agree. I mean, biometrics is like that too. No one knows your biometrics. It's like just you personally verifying through probably some kind of hash of your biometrics, and knowing that that's unique more so than like someone being able to know your actual biometrics. So that's true. I mean, maybe I'm yeah, maybe the concern I had was not relevant, if that's the case.
Well, could be at the moment, but yeah, hopefully we'll find ways to do it. The idea of like having all this data on a blockchain is kind of scary in itself, even if other people can't see it, because like if you do give up your key, maybe people can get access to it all just with that one key.
That's true too. So, that's true too. Like if they have the key,
it's everything.
They should be able to decrypt kind of your data. So there is that there is concern about that. So it's probably another topic to discuss, I think.
For another day.
Yeah, which is very, very interesting so, but identity, I think eventually is solved right now. I think we're there. I mean, between biometrics, location, web of trust systems, I think it's there. I think we could prevent most Sybil attacks, most bots. So I think we're right there, and that's going to be a revolution in terms of technology, because if we can have unique identities, we solve a lot of problems with all our interactions online. And so anyway, so I'm excited. So we're there. We're there right now. So I think we're just about like an hour and 30. So really appreciate you coming in, Justin. It's always fun to chat about these topics. We'll do another maybe company next week. All right, Jaron. Hey, good to have you here. Mel.
Yeah, cheers everyone for watching and contributing.
Yeah, really appreciate it, guys. And we'll do another one next week. I don't know, what should we decide on something today, or
maybe we'll figure something out and we'll announce it on Twitter and Telegram, and maybe we can start putting it up in the actual Crowdcast.
Yeah, let's have people vote, or let's have people vote.
Oh, we can do a vote. Yeah.
Let's just say, hey, we're gonna do another tokenomics white paper review. Just yeah, just have people do. We could do a Twitter poll, right? And just say what people want to do, and then that'll get more people here to join us.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. So yeah, really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks again, guys, and we'll just see you next week. So,
Awesome. Catch you guys. See
all
you.
right, take care.